Hey, coming up right now, a moment of road rage caught on camera. An off-duty cop punching a driver at intersection. We're going to show it to you. You're just going to shake your head.
Also coming up, why Amazon is telling its warehouse workers to think happy thoughts.
Yes, a little bit later on. Is NBA star Steph Curry actually thinking about a run for office when he's done winning championships for Golden State?
Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
And she kept her job.
I know. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I'm Mitch English. Welcome to Daily Flash. We have actually we've subbed out kids in China to produce a show for you that you're going to know, right?
You are.
No, that's not true. We got a whole hour set up, ready to rock and roll. We'll also check in with our buddy Matt Doolittle. Matt, anything going on in your life? Anything happened today?
Okay, so I live in downtown Orlando, and
Yeah.
off the main strip that's kind of, racy. 5:30 this morning.
Racy as in car racing.
Car racing.
Yeah,
Well, it's
okay.
a little racy too.
Well, you said strip too. So.
Well, yeah, it's true.
So I'm coming out this morning, and I hear vroom, vroom, vroom from some Honda, and then I hear and a BMW 5 Series just decided to let his front end go and smack it, cracked his front end. In true fashion of caring, I walked over like, all right. I got in, went and got my Starbucks. Then I came back to make sure he was still okay, and then came to work.
That, folks, is his dedication to make sure that he's here. That's his dedication for this show.
Street racing at 5:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Did you get video or pictures of
No,
this?
I had all my things in my hand. It's just one of those like, oh, please don't hit my car.
Please don't.
It was one of those where I'm more worried about me because it's so stupid because I can hear it.
Well, I do like that Matt said he ordered his Starbucks ahead of time and needed to
Yes.
get in
Oh,
there
yeah,
and
no,
pick
that's
it
a
up.
practical
Priorities.
Of course,
Priorities.
yeah.
Guys,
So
priorities.
priorities, really.
I love that. I love
Good
that too.
stuff, Maddie.
Glad you're okay
Yes,
too, Maddie.
yes, absolutely. So I found this article online I thought was interesting. This son kicks his mother out of the house because she was making him breakfasts that he did not want.
What?
Yeah, right? So apparently his sister had a baby, so the mom wanted to stay with him so she could walk down to the daughter's house to take care of the new grandbaby.
Okay.
She's staying at her son's house. She starts making him breakfast. Well, he said on a number of occasions, please don't do that. I don't eat breakfast. I drink coffee. I eat fruit for lunch. And then I have something for dinner. And so she continues daily to make him breakfast, which he throws out. So eventually he said, I've had it. You're out of here. So people are outraged that this guy kicked his mother out of the house for making breakfast. His argument is, look, I asked her repeatedly not to do it. I told her why. She's wasting my food. I'd had it.
It's going to be number one, ungrateful, number one.
Yeah.
And the thing, when I grew up, mom made food, I was one of five, you ate it. So
Yes.
it sounds like he was probably like an only kid, maybe?
Well, his sister had a
Oh,
baby.
yeah, his sister.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
So, and she was probably mothering him. I'm sure
Yes.
there's probably a little bit more to it or whatever. But what a great thing for a mom to do. First off, and
Yes.
I'm grateful that he had done it. That's why I look at it.
Well, a little bit more to that
Okay.
story is apparently he had a case of OCD as a younger child. So that kind of makes a little bit more sense as far as why he was so adamant about it.
And now I actually feel for you because I understand it.
Yeah.
If especially people with OCD, they like
Yeah.
to have things every single day. Anything messes it up. I
Yeah.
can understand that. But he could have said, "Mom, you're making this food. You're going to have to eat it."
Yeah.
Because nobody else is going to. But that's how do you tell your kids? Where's Grandma? Or whatever later on.
Yes.
So keep that in mind. And I do believe in karma. So. What comes around goes around.
You never know.
Be good for your mama. You guys go call your moms right now and tell them you love them. Shocking video right now. Off-duty officer in Connecticut punching a driver after the man honked at him for not turning at a red light. We got a dash cam footage. It's actually showing Corporal Alan Ganter stopped at a red light. And you can see a 37-year-old driver pull up behind the officer who was waiting at the light. You hear the very impatient driver scream, "What are you doing?" You can actually, usually when you're in the car, you go,
Yeah.
Anyway, The off-duty cop comes and gets out of his car, shows his badge as he approaches the driver behind him, back and forth between the guys, gets very heated. You see the off-duty cop start throwing punches at the driver.
Ooh.
The officer arrested on assault charges, suspended for 5 days without pay. He's going to have to attend a de-escalation training. There it is, for the next 3 years as part of his probation. And the officer said it's because his mom made him breakfast and he didn't eat it. No, you know, I know we put police officers on a different level.
100%.
But we forget that they're human as well too.
Yes.
Now, I'm not excusing anything that he did here whatsoever. It's a highly stressful job. I get that, but still, there's no excuse for that behavior.
No, and for him to walk away and then what it appeared to be turned back around and throw a punch at the guy, if I'm reading that correctly.
That's what it felt like, right?
Yeah, it seems like he just lost control for a moment. And when you look at these cops and the situations they're put in, I mean, they're forced to endure a lot of really hateful speech, a lot of antagonism, and they just have to be patient through most of it. So you can understand how maybe that builds up over time and just that single moment. Again, not condoning it for whatever, but you can kind of understand in that human moment he just lost it.
And hopefully that guy's not a traffic cop. Maybe, you know, but you know, and I'm a little biased. My son's a police officer, and I've done ride-alongs with him. And honestly, I think it should be every citizen should go on a ride-along to understand the crap that they go through. And you're like, look, man, I'm just doing my job, you know, the whole time. And so I've learned a lot by doing that, and actually it was kind of fun.
I always talk about this, but on Patrol Live, on Reels,
you love that show.
I mean, they follow nine different police, police stations live. And so you see what these guys and gals go through. It's unbelievable, some of the antagonism they have to deal with. Well, Amazon is working to improve the attitudes of some of its stressed out warehouse workers, and they're also hoping to reduce injuries by encouraging them to meditate in the middle of their workday. You're hearing Matt, exactly. A new health and wellness guide encourages Amazon workers to close their eyes and think about something that makes them happy. The company has recently come under fire for alleged work conditions at their warehouses. Some employees claim they had to forego bathroom breaks because of the demands of the job. Employees now receive hourly prompts at their workstations, guiding them through a series of activities to help them recharge. Last year, labor unions released a report that found that Amazon's injury rate was 70% higher in 2022 compared to other non-Amazon warehouses.
You know, and Amazon under fire a lot of times because of their working conditions. But even now, their commercials that you see, they talk about how great their working conditions are. They also have, you can kind of, I hate to say it, but robots, you know, they don't
complain.
Have meditation rooms. They don't complain, that sort of thing. But I mean, it's a stressful, it's a hard, and for it to go down 70% is you know, a big deal. To get those stats down, and Matt just falls down just by saying.
I mean, I fall down a lot, but I did a call center job with Disney for a little bit, where you're booking everybody's reservations.
Yeah.
And they literally had a quiet room where we could just go in and just calm down for a minute, or literally just scream into the wall after somebody asks for something ridiculous.
Is it that stressful and frustrating?
Yes, because you're just dealing with people where you're like, you don't understand what I'm trying to give you free stuff or help you. Help me, help you. Help me, help you.
Now, we have a quiet room here at Daily Flash. However, when the camera 2 operator would always have to go use it, no one wanted to get anywhere near that ass.
Just turned into a saloon.
Got to hold some bad pork or something. I'm telling you, it just, am I right, guy? I don't know what that guy was eating, man, but cleared out a whole block of offices.
Needs to check his diet, I think so. NBA star Steph Curry said he might consider running for office at some point in the future. In a recent interview, Curry expressed his interest in politics, saying that he would like to use his influence for good. And if politics is the way to do it, the Golden State star said he might consider it. Curry made sure to clarify that his interest had nothing to do with running for president. Curry's been outspoken on a few issues related to politics. He's also a board member of a group which encourages voter registration.
I like him. I like he's a family guy. I feel like he is, at least. I like him. I think that, you know, which politics will destroy that great nature that that guy has.
100%,
Don't do it. I like you, Seth.
Stay away. We've seen with other celebrities that have tried to do this. Like, you have a good life. Why ruin it?
We have a certain producer on staff, so somebody told me he needs to run for Congress, and I go, no.
Don't do it.
I go, I'll keep the name down. I go, James, don't do it, Jay. You do not need. He'd make a great
James
politician.
for president.
I'd vote for the guy.
He'd be terrific.
I'd vote that guy. He can do everything, but
Don't look at his taxes.
Taxes. they destroy who you are. I mean, and because that's part of the game of politics.
It's so frustrating because people say, why don't we have better choices? Why don't we have better people to choose from? Well, the better people who've tried to run end up just getting completely annihilated.
Right.
So why would you even want to run?
100%, I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think? Who would make a great president? Would Steph Curry be one? We would love to hear from you. Why don't you drop us an email? Our email address, always running, and we also share your comments on the air. Just go to flash@dailyflashshow.com. Emails come straight to us. We still got more to go, right?
Yeah, sweet baby James for
Sweet
president.
baby James. Sweet baby James. We got our vote, sweet
James
baby.
for president. Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Andrea Jackson. Many of us are familiar with that inner voice, the self-talk we sometimes find ourselves in when we encounter certain situations. However, I happen to know someone who doesn't have an inner monologue. There, okay, I said it. But I'm not alone.
Did you know that nearly 50% of people don't have a voice inside their head? What? This voice is called the inner monologue and allows you to hear yourself without speaking. And researchers don't yet know why some people have it while others don't. But one study found that people with aphantasia, which prevents someone from seeing visual imagery in their mind, also had very little inner monologue. So what's it like without one?
Interesting.
So this means that up to about 70% of people don't have a talkative brain, right? Experts want you to keep this in mind. Get it? Keep this in mind.
I
You
love
like
that.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, your inner voice's intensity can change depending on your mental state. So, guys, do you have an inner monologue?
Well, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Matt?
if you think about it.
Oh yeah, mine goes off all the time.
I'll be a
Usually it's,
monkey's tick turd. How about that, man?
Just keeps going and.
I have these thoughts all the time.
Yeah. Well, and
talking
then
about
there's this crowd of about, 33,000
wonder if
people
she
that,
thinks I have
just
bad
sort of
breath.
talk about
Maybe I should
things.
fact
Right.
check that.
It's interesting because, when you think about another study that's possible for people to
Can't do
experience
that.
a mix of both
Can't
inner
do copyright
speech
songs even in thoughts.
and thoughts without words.
What if I talk like a robot?
Greetings, my name is Mitch.
I use headphones to shut it out, so.
I think
Yeah.
Matt owes
That's
me
what I really-
$20.
Well, sometimes you think I wish I would stop
Ooh,
talking
this is
in my
cool.
head.
Hello.
Right?
Yeah.
Just kind
Echo.
of quiet things down.
It just wants to shut off.
My
Yeah.
mind is the Grand
And it just
Canyon.
keeps going. And I talk to myself in the car. Too,
Yeah.
so.
Well, do you find multitasking?
what are we
it gets
talking
a
about
little
again?
bit-
It does, but sometimes
Confusing.
it'll help me focus a little
Yeah.
bit. So, sometimes it can help.
Right. People like that are stupid. Aphasia.
Right? You've never heard of that?
Never
Aphasia?
whatsoever at all.
Well, and they say the reason why so many of us process things differently is super sciencey and complex, but can be related to our brain structure and personality.
Interesting. Do you appreciate people that just say what's on their mind?
Yes and no. Sometimes I wish I could have that person. I could be that person with no filter because I feel like those people just get away with everything, and it's terrific. It's
And
refreshing.
they're actually. People look at them like, wow, he just says what's on his mind. And
Yes.
or like, he must have a lot of confidence when come to find out. It's just that, no, you don't know how keeping things to yourself is important.
Yes, yeah.
I've had to learn that. I'm sure, Matt, you have as well, that, there's things that you want to say, but there's things you just can't
Has
say.
anybody met my mother? Nope, no filter there.
Mother's lovely.
And then you also wonder, it seems like is there any kind of medication that'll help this? And it's called alcohol, which will make if it's the other way around, like if you
Well,
don't want
no,
to say
it
anything,
shuts it up, then it also
that's what
opens it up.
It doesn't shut it up. That's what I'm saying. Like if you keep everything in,
But
that's
aren't
what gets
some
up.
of the best comics that do that, like a Larry David, Belzer used to
Richard
just
Belzer, yeah,
open it
yeah.
up. Those types of comics just open it up, and you're like, oh, okay, I could never say that, but have at it.
And then you gain
Pressure.
respect for them because they're like, wow, they're not afraid. When you come to find out, you realize, well, they say it because that's what they're thinking, and it comes out. And I think in this day and age of being canceled so much,
Yes.
I think more and more people. This is something. The reason why we're talking about is that more and more people are going to get canceled because they're just saying what's on their mind.
I always think about this question, when it comes to something like that, wouldn't you want to know honestly what someone thinks rather than for them to keep it inside and for it to explode in some other way somewhere down the line?
Well, there's passive aggressive stuff too. that
Exactly.
people, they kind of,
Yeah.
they don't exactly say it, but they kind of say it. But then you're like, just say the real thing. Come on, let's go. Like,
Which is worse? Like, would you rather them not say it or be passive aggressive
I'd rather
about
just really
it?
say it. Like,
Yeah.
just come on, get it out. Let's go.
I know.
Well, it's the Band-Aid. Rip it off, then you know what the issue is. You can start dealing with it. And and then again, there are some things I think you shouldn't say because you need to think it out a little bit
Yes,
more.
yeah, that's
On
true.
the other side of that. So it's those things. We wouldn't know what you think. Do you know somebody like this? And has there been an instance where maybe you were in a situation where somebody was saying something? Or we're talking about your kids. You know that because there's an age where kids will just say whatever they think. We want to hear. We'd love to share those stories on our show. You could drop us an email at flash@dailyflashshow.com. There, of course, we'll share it on the air. All right, there we go. Maddie, what do you got?
Well, thank you, Mitch and Andrea. Well, you definitely don't want to know what's going on in my mind. And then there's this. There's a crowd of 3,000 people who had to wait half an hour for a recent English women's soccer league game. Why? Because the team had matching socks. And I can tell you from being over there, they're very personal about this.
Okay.
No, it wasn't a fashion faux pas. It's actually a rule. And apparently Arsenal turned up at a Chelsea match with the same colored white socks.
Oh.
How did they remedy it? Well, Arsenal had to go into the Chelsea Megastore, which, one of their team stores, and buy black socks. And since Arsenal is sponsored by Adidas, as they say it over there, they had to use tape to try and hide the Chelsea and Nike logos.
Oh.
In case you're wondering, WSL leader Chelsea won the game 3-1. I'm a Manchester United fan, so go Reds, go. But, either way, over there, they're very, very strict about how the colors go, how the
rules?
they call kits.
Yeah.
They're called kits.
Socks are called kits?
Kits.
The
how
kids,
whole
like the
thing
whole
goes.
outfit.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
outfit's called the kid.
But overall, when y'all say you went to senior there, Matt, you just recently there, but they follow rules. Like they respect rules. over
There's
there.
certain
That's my feeling.
protocol. There's protocol. There's boundaries. There's tradition that they follow, which is kind of refreshing.
But how embarrassing though, because they had to wear their competitors' actual socks and had to buy the socks at
hide
their
the logos.
store, and then they had to hide the logo.
You gotta hide the logo. Like Jordan had this thing where there was a competing champion had an Olympic jersey back in one of the Olympics, and he put tape over it because he's a Nike guy. So those guys get very strict with that. They're like, oh no, I'm not wearing Adidas.
And don't talk about his son either, making the whole UCF have to change shoes.
Oh
right?
yeah, well UCF had to go from
Story.
Adidas to Nike
because
and then
of
to
the
Jordan.
son
Yeah.
playing.
See, there's a no filter example right there.
Absolutely.
Right.
All right, we'll try to get our filters on, and we're going to do a little boss lady here, especially since it's Women's History Month.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay with us. We're back right after this. In this week's Boss Lady, we take a closer look at Rosie the Riveter. The iconic image represents a generation of women who worked behind the scenes during World War II. Many believe these women paved the way for a new generation of female workers, aka boss ladies. One such woman was Eleanor Otto. Eleanor was known as one of the original Rosie the Riveters. She recently passed away, but not before sharing her story with the American Veterans Center. Take a look.
I was in San Diego, and they advertised for women if they would like to come to work, because the men were going to war. Then I applied at Roar Aircraft in Chula Vista, and they hired all the women that came there. Other women came from other states to work when they heard about it, because first time women had that type of job. My mother and my stepdad, and they all thought it was a very exciting thing. My sister and I went to work. I had a sister living in San Francisco. She became a welder on a ship. And my sister and I were riveters. The men taught us and how the tools and riveting and all that. We had to have some men there to show us work that we had never done. And it didn't take us long to catch on. We could see that the men's job wasn't as hard as they made us think it was. And we all did it. That's why we go on like that, because we all did it. And it didn't take us long to learn. And because we got cooperations from the men, at first they were kind of dubious about having women come in and do their jobs. But after they learned that we were ready to be experienced and cooperate in everything they wanted us to do, it worked out great. We all got along great. We worked on bigger parts, like the nose of the plane or the fuselage of the plane, connecting parts and even wiring. And sometimes they'd want us to work overtime if they had a schedule to meet to get the plane out in time, to send the parts over, to put on the big plane. It's a challenge. Women want to be challenged, and which we have been, and look what it's brought. We get congratulations from all these women that are CEOs and presidents of corporations, that we paved the way. So proud of that fact. I never realized till now. I didn't realize how important it was then, because it was just something we were doing. We knew how important it was in a way because we knew we had to win the war. We had to win that war. So that's why we kept busy and kept working at it. But we didn't know how important it was, and being special doing it as women. I worked in the office. I didn't like that because I wasn't moving around enough. So I started doing car hopping, bring food to the car, put it on the windshield. They put us on skates, and then I got out of that. I know I did fall down and everything. So I did that for quite a while. So from 1945 to 51, I did other things. So then in 51, I worked at Ryan Aeronautical for 14 years, and they built the Spirit of St. Louis for Charles Lindbergh. And then in 1964, they laid us off because they stopped building airplanes. So about a year I didn't work, and somebody I knew came up here to Long Beach, and she said, "You better get up here because Douglas is hiring women for the first time since the war." Got hired just like that when they found out we had worked at Ryan. And they promised me 10 years of work. I've been there 49. I have to tell some guys sometimes, there's a rivet gun about this big, and when I grab it and go to use it, one of the guys went and told the boss, "She's using that big rivet gun." I said, "I've been using this rivet gun before you were born." I said, "I'm not as frail as I look. I'm strong." I had to tell them that. You got to fight your way with men, you know. The guys would say, "You're working too fast. You're making us look bad." I said, "Well, keep working then." They wondered, where do I get my energy? Which I still have. One time, my sister, not too long ago, she said, "Are you ever going to retire?" And she, "What are you going to do? Work till you're 95? Little did I know. I just got smart. I said, "Maybe." Little did I know. It's amazing that I lived this long and I was aware and seeing the differences, and I'm proud of that. Years ago, we couldn't get certain jobs. If you want to get credit, you couldn't even get credit. And so many things have changed, the women, and if we had a part of it, I am so happy.
Eleanor first went to work as a riveter in World War II, and she was still at it 70 years later. Otto was known for working on every single C-17 at the Boeing plant up until the day she finally decided to call it quits. Eleanor retired at the age of 95 in 2014. There's even a bar named after her in Long Beach, California. She recently passed away a few months ago in Las Vegas from a stroke. She was 104 years old. If you know a boss lady you think should be featured on our show, drop me a line at Andrea at dailyflashshow.com. We would love to hear from you and share a new bossy story. And if you want to check out all of our previous Boss Lady segments, all you have to do is head to our website, dailyflashshow.com. Once you're there, look for the Boss Lady tab. Click on it, and it will take you to all the previous boss ladies we featured on our show. Again, dailyflashshow.com. Email me, Andrea at dailyflashshow.com, if you know a boss lady you want to be featured on the show. So much more straight ahead. We've got news, entertainment, everything in between coming your way right here on Daily Flash. Don't go anywhere. You miss a minute, you miss a lot.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everybody. I am Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, your source for trending news and entertainment.
All right. Listen, when, the old cliches, like when you get old, become a grumpy old man and everything.
Get off my lawn!
There's research out that says that happens at age 52. That
Really?
you start becoming grumpy when you're at 52.
Why?
However, they're saying your body starts to degenerate after some scientists at the University of Virginia studied 2,000 people. They say that actual old age begins at the age of 27. Is when you start, that is your peak. That's pretty much physically, your cognitive skills are at their their peak, and after that point, it kind of goes down. They actually peak up around 22, and then around 27 is when old age
If
begins.
you're Jewish, it's about 19. You start complaining
He
about
can
everything.
say that.
Because he's
I said that 'cause I'm
Jewish.
Jewish. Yeah, sorry.
So,
yeah.
you know.
We have to clarify.
So wait till you're 52, Maddie.
Hey! Basically Larry David.
And I think it is what you had said too. Is by the time you're age 52, you actually have a lawn and things you appreciate. And you just,
Get off of it!
You own things.
Yeah, you own
Yes,
things. You own them. You're
things.
not financing
Yeah,
them.
you're not
You own 'em.
renting.
You're not renting.
You're not renting the furniture. You actually
Right.
own it. You've made a commitment.
So
I
think
find
about
that, yeah. But at 22, I don't know about you, but I was at my peak party stage at 22.
Right?
I'm not sure my mental functions were 100%.
For guys, I think 27, where they said the frontal lobe is
Yeah.
when it's fully developed, and that's when I think that's what they're referring to as well. But all the decisions you make before that, I realized,
Yeah.
Maybe I should have waited to do a couple things, or maybe make those choices would have been different
Yeah,
as well.
well,
But you learn,
yeah,
and
of
now when you're my
Yeah.
age,
Unless you've hit your frontal lobe a lot, like by 27, like me.
Yeah.
So I had 4 concussions by then.
you
From the
should
wrestling
get that
mat
look
or
at
the
it.
driving? I can't
It
remember.
was 2 accidents and mostly basketball.
Okay, there we go. I knew it was sports and driving related
Exactly.
somehow. Well, shocking video shows an off-duty officer in Connecticut punching a driver after the man honked him for not turning at a red light. Dash cam footage shows Corporal Alan Ganter stopped at a red light. You can see a 37-year-old driver right here pull up behind the officer who's waiting at the light. You hear the impatient driver scream, "What are you doing?" while he proceeds to lay on the horn. The off-duty officer then gets out of his car, shows his badge as he approaches the driver. The back and forth between the men gets heated before you see the off-duty cop start throwing punches at the driver.
That's crazy.
The officer was arrested on assault charges and suspended for 5 days without pay. He'll have to attend de-escalation training for the next 3 years as part of his probation. I love that dog.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. I would just let that dog out.
Yeah.
If somebody is hitting me, I'm like, I'm opening the door. Go get him, Chucky, and let the dog handle that sort of thing.
Usually when
He
you
looks
have
gentle.
Yeah, he does. A Great Dane maybe?
He looked
I'm not
like it,
sure.
yeah.
Usually when there's a pet involved, sometimes that tends to just lower
That's a good point.
the stress level of any situation. And if the guy saw the dog in the front seat, I guess it could either irritate you, but you'd think it would just sort of like, hey, just cool it, take 5, take a breath.
And what did you gain from that, like punching the guy? First off, I get it, the beeping the horn, we're all wanting to get to the same place, but we have to take a moment just to stop and breathe
Yes.
and think things out and that sort of thing. And the cop, that's what kind of bothers me, as you
Yeah.
pointed out earlier, is that he walked and then walked away and then came back and did it. So he had an opportunity to move away and he chose not to do it. Amazon, working to improve the attitude of some stressed out warehouse workers. They're also hoping to reduce injuries by encouraging them to just meditate right in the middle of their workday. A new health and wellness guide encourages Amazon workers to close. By the way, does that say Amazon or Amazon on this thing? Why don't you look at the booth?
Amazon.
Oh,
I get it. Okay, now.
Oh, yeah.
Matt always picks up on
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah, good one, Matt.
The company has actually recently come under fire, actually for alleged work conditions at warehouses. Some employees claim to have forego bathroom breaks and peed in their pants because I made that up. I made that up. Employees now actually receive hourly prompts to go right there at their workstations to actually stop, recharge. Last year, labor unions actually released a report, and they found that Amazon's injury rate was 70% higher in 2022 compared to other non-Amazon warehouses. Maybe they just changed the name, as Matt says, Amazon, and make it nice and zen. Wouldn't that be great? But robots don't have this problem, and we have to continue as humans to realize we need to work through things, but if they have an opportunity, that's
Yeah. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Daily Flash Show. Daily Flash
Show.
dailyflashshow.com.
there you go. Today's Financially Speaking. Are you putting off filing your taxes? Not sure where to start? Well, with the tax deadline quickly approaching, well, we're all feeling that pressure. Here's something that might actually help you get a little motivated.
If you're one of the many tax filers out there delaying filing because it's just too overwhelming for you, you're not alone. We caught up with CPA and tax expert with TurboTax, Lisa Green Lewis, for some incentive to help you get out of the procrastination station. For starters, she says, get organized.
So gather documents that report your income, like W-2s and 1099s, and then especially don't forget receipts and forms that report deductible items like charitable contributions or your home mortgage interest. You want to e-file with direct deposit That's the fastest way to get your refund from the IRS. And the average refund was over $3,000. So you want to get your taxes done as fast as possible. And the IRS states that they will issue most refunds within 21 days or less. Be aware of the most missed deductions and credits. For instance, the Earned Income Tax Credit. That's a credit of $7,430 for a family with 3 kids, but the IRS states that 1 out of 5 qualified families miss that credit. And then there's the other dependent credit. Many people don't know, even if you support your boyfriend or girlfriend, you may be eligible for that credit. And then student loan interest, that's another one I want to bring up because student loan payments were paused for a couple of years due to COVID, but now you may have student loan interest that you paid, so make sure you deduct that. People may have been possibly delaying because they're hearing about a change in the child tax credit, but there's no reason to delay filing. The IRS commissioner states that if the child tax credit is changed, that they will adjust impacted tax returns and provide additional credits if people are eligible. So there's no reason to delay filing.
Green Lewis says you can now also enlist the help of a real-life TurboTax expert, and it can be more beneficial than you even realize.
TurboTax full-service experts can do your taxes from start to finish and take your taxes off your plate so you can go on and do something else. And then, they specialize in your unique situation and they will prepare, sign, and file your return, but they won't do that until they're 100% confident that it's accurate and that you're getting the best outcome.
Even more incentive, just scan the QR code on your screen. You can get $100 back instantly at filing when an Intuit TurboTax expert does your taxes with TurboTax Full Service. To be eligible for this offer, you must file using Full Service by March 31st. Sounds like a good deal to us. For more info, head to turbotax.com.
St. Patrick's Day is known for its big parades and the color green. One company recently joined the festivities in Chicago for their famous dyeing of the Chicago River. Here's their story.
What better way to launch an Irish-based coffee drink than here in St. Patrick's Day in Chicago, with 500,000 of our favorite friends for dyeing the river green, as well as the wonderful St. Patrick's Day parade.
First time the plumbers dyed the river green was back in 1956. And the way they figured out that they should dye it is that is a food dye that we use to discover broken sewer lines.
We're going to be handing out samples of our newest product, as well as we have our monster truck in the parade so everyone can see it. We've got the scariest looking leprechaun to represent the brand, and of course, the enchanting Monster Girls will be there as well. Java Monster is a line of ready-to-drink coffees by Monster Energy. It's coffee done the Monster way with a lot of attitude. We like to do things a little bit differently at Monster, so our whole line of Java with different flavors and different concoctions has really got something for everybody.
No, we are not done. We have more Flash coming up. We gotta pay some bills first.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. You miss a minute, you miss a lot.
I heard that. Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. Fentanyl and other synthetic opioids are driving up the numbers of overdose deaths all across the United States. Joining us now is Dr. Jerome Adams. He's with Purdue University, as well as Madeline Hilliard, who's with Team Awareness Combating Overdose and Dopage. Let's talk about this. How has the overdose epidemic actually changed in just recent years, either one of you?
Well, Mitch, synthetic opioids like fentanyl are fast, long-acting, and strong, which makes them extremely dangerous, and they now are responsible for 90% of overdose deaths.
Wow.
And it's important for people to understand the FDA has approved prescription Opvee, or nasal nalmefene nasal spray, as an emergency treatment to help combat overdose from synthetic opioids such as fentanyl.
And who right now are we saying is the most at risk for maybe that opioid overdose?
It could be anyone from those who are intentionally using opioids, whether that be heroin, or those that are not intentionally using opioids, such as students who might be accessing pills that they've purchased online, or anyone using a drug such as cocaine, because fentanyl, it only takes 2 milligrams to kill someone, and it's a white odorless powder that can be mixed into any other substance. So at this point in time, that's why we're seeing such a dramatic increase, because this inexpensive, easy to make drug is finding its way into other substances that people aren't necessarily intending to take.
Scary stuff. And how do you know if somebody is overdosing, doctor? And what's some of the signs and symptoms?
Well, if you see someone who's turning blue, if you see someone who's having trouble breathing, one of the most common things you'll see is that literally they stop breathing. And you've got about 4 minutes before you start to experience brain injury. Time is brain, which is why Madeline and I are so adamant about making sure more people know about how to recognize an overdose and are able to respond with an overdose reversal agent like Opvee or nasal nalmefene.
All righty, and quickly, where can folks go if they want to find out more information on this?
Well, they can go to www.opvee.com, and Madeline has a great website for students.
Students can access free overdose prevention resources at tacoinc.org.
All right. Thank you both for joining us. A very serious topic. We'll have this and so much more on our website, dailyflashshow.com.
We are living in the digital age, but sometimes we could all use a little real-life help, especially when it comes to filing our taxes.
If filing your taxes has you feeling overwhelmed, you're not alone. It's not easy to know all the ins and outs and to make sure you're doing them accurately and to your advantage. The latest announcements from the #1 ranked best-selling tax software with access to live tax experts, Intuit TurboTax, may be the solution.
So tax complexity is continuing to increase for many taxpayers and is becoming more and more important to proactively seek help from an expert. For example, this year, many taxpayers looking for expert help note that they have retirement or rental property income, are filing multi-state taxes, and are newly self-employed.
In fact, a recent Intuit Credit Karma survey revealed that many Gen Z filers are creating LLCs for their digital side hustles.
45% of Gen Z consider themselves digital side hustlers. This includes things such as developing branded content on social media, selling goods on Etsy and eBay, and growing paid audiences on platforms such as Substack. So many filers are seeking live support, especially with multiple income sources. It can feel a bit overwhelming.
Wong says TurboTax has teamed up with independent verified pros to allow tax filers to fully hand their taxes off to a local expert that TurboTax matches based on the filer's unique needs, such as Wong, who will get to know them and their tax situation. Tax filers can continue to work with their verified pro throughout the year and next year for their filing needs. And since the verified pros are backed by Intuit TurboTax, accuracy is 100% guaranteed.
So the benefit is that you also build a lasting relationship either virtually or in person. I have so many clients that say they just feel more confident when they have a live person who knows them and their situation, and we can take the worry of taxes off their hands.
Wong says local in most states, 76% of U.S. tax filers have an Intuit TurboTax Verified Pro within a 45-minute drive. This service also benefits tax pros who have the opportunity to grow their own tax business with the support of Intuit through marketing, accuracy-guaranteed software, and office efficiencies.
And if you need more incentive, we are offering people who file with an Intuit TurboTax Verified Pro before March 31st a $100 gift card.
To learn more, visit pros.turbotax.intuit.com.
A wireless connection is crucial in how we live and work in the modern world. Tech expert Cassie Slane joins us now. Cassie, how can customers find the best reward programs?
Well, first of all, look at where you're already spending. So necessities like credit card, insurance, those types of payments. A lot of times there's rewards programs that have items outside of the core rewards that you might not even be using. So take a look and see what's out there and what you can use to save money every day.
What should people be looking for in a wireless provider or their plan?
You know what? I really like T-Mobile's offerings. They've always been known to put their customers first, and they've just launched their new Magenta Status Customer Appreciation Program, and it's packed with $1,500 of perks per year. So deals from all kinds of national brands that you know and love and services that you're already using from, hotels, rental cars, concerts, movie tickets, tons of freebies, and it's just for being a T-Mobile customer. There's no extra charge for that, so it's VIP for free.
We love those VIP perks. Where can viewers go for more information?
So they can go to tmobile.com/benefits for more information.
Cassie, anything else you'd like to share with our viewers before we let you go?
No, just make sure that whatever you're doing, if you're a moviegoer or whatever, you're finding the perks that work best for you so that you're getting the best value out of your wireless carrier.
Cassie, great information. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be sure to post this information on our website at dailyflashshow.com.
Thanks.
It's good stuff. I'm actually a member of the T-Mobile thing, and it's great. Every Tuesday, send you alerts. Really kind of cool. All right. Hey, we love to hear from you. We love when you actually drop us an email. And it's actually easy to do. Best way, you can check out our website. Go to dailyflashshow.com. There you're going to find recent shows. You're also going to be able to find all the links that we talked about, as well as the articles. And of course, some of the segments that we do here, you can watch all over again. You can also drop us an email there by just clicking on our faces, and then boom, it'll take you there. The website, it's there, it's waiting for you. And we're also on social media. Just go to dailyflashshow.com. By the way, the link's there to the side. You can find our social media locations there as well. More Flash after this.
What is KSA Entertainment? It's trending news, entertainment, lifestyle. KSA Entertainment. Culture. It's love. It's food. It's family. KSA. It's life. It's shopping. It's empowerment. KSA Entertainment. It's fitness. It's travel. KSA. It's fun. It's engaging. It's Daily Flash. Daily Flash Latino. Life, love, shopping. This is KSA Entertainment.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. Trending right now, the New York City subway now has its very own unofficial publication, and the only way to get your hands on a copy is by riding the rails. Public Transport Magazine is a free handout featuring stories and cartoons. The magazine was created by Al Mullen. The 35-year-old video editor and comedian was inspired to launch the reader as a way to reach a wider, more diverse crowd than he usually sees at his stand-up shows. Mullen creates the publication in his apartment and leaves copies at stations around the city. He launched the publication in May of 2022 with 200 copies. It's gained a following from fans who have come across it while riding the subway.
And something nice to read and kind of keep you a little humor, it sounds like, as well. Neat there. It's talking about planes. All aboard, not planes, trains rather. All aboard the Solar Clip Express. For $4,000, you can get a pass on one of two vintage trains headed from New York City to Niagara Falls on April 8th. What's happening on that day? Well, an eclipse. It's going to start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, last about 2.5 hours. And the trains will accommodate 18 overnight guests in 6 master suites and 3 double bedrooms. During the train ride, an onboard chef will going to serve you gourmet lunches and dinners. The train's claim to fame is turning into the Peanut Special. That was back in 1977 as part of then President Jimmy Carter's inauguration as well. So if you really want to check out, and they're saying they'll take you to Niagara Falls because that's a beautiful place to check out the eclipse. Really neat there. After a tough season for the Mets, management is planning something new for baseball fans at Citi Field. They've hired the Queen's Crew. It's a co-ed dance team with 19 members. The team's going to perform their dance routines in between innings and during the 7th inning stretch, all in an effort to get that crowd going. There they are. Management says the dancers will also perform in the aisles. The review on social media have been mixed, with many fans saying, listen, I just want to come here and watch the game. Others say, you know what, they're going to give it a chance. I think with people like the Savannah Bananas, which is, you go to a baseball game and it's really a performance the whole time. I think more there, and baseball is seeing decline, people going to it, so they're trying to make it more of like a family fun environment because it's a slow playing game sometimes.
Yeah, and I think they're going to have to appeal to a younger generation if they want to keep these games going. I mean, I appreciate the old school, hey, we just want to watch the game, but I think they've got to come up with some new attractions.
Yeah, and if it's bothering you, maybe you shouldn't watch the baseball game altogether.
True.
Right? That does it for our show. We want to thank you for spending time with us.
Yeah, for more information on any of today's stories, please visit our website, dailyflashshow.com.
Y'all take care. We will see you when we look at you. Bye-bye.